I'm Jason Pittser. I was at Milligan 1992 through 1996. Grew up in Washington Courthouse, Ohio, and was recruited to play basketball by Coach Wallingford. So he's one of the reasons I ended up down here. He and my mother had a relative who attended Milligan College, and she was impressed with the school and talked me into coming for a visit. So I don't know how many people can say their mom got their basketball scholarship for them, but she's probably the person I need to thank the most for ending up down here. But I grew up in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. I live outside of Wilmington, Ohio now. I'm an optometrist there. After Milligan, I went to Ohio State University for 4 years of optometry school and then settled in the Wilmington area. Why Milligan? You know, at the time, Milligan, it still does have a strong academic reputation, and knowing that I wanted to go to professional school after undergraduate, that was important. The spiritual aspect was good as well. You know, my parents raised me to consider my spiritual development, and so that stuck out as well about Milligan. I'd like to say as an 18-year-old, those were the two most important things, and I had the maturity and perspective to know that at the time. But to be honest, probably the main reason I chose Milligan was because of men's basketball and playing for Coach Wallingford. And you know, I had a great academic experience and social and spiritual experience as well. But had it not been for men's basketball and a solid program and playing for a great coach, I don't know that I would have come here. So that's one of the reasons I have tried to make it a point to support the men's basketball program at Milligan, because that's what got me here. Coach Wallingford, he was a great basketball mind. I don't think you would find anybody who would argue with that. As far as X's and O's, the best coach I ever played for. He was tough on me, that's for sure. You know, especially my sophomore year, he demanded a lot of me, and there were times I didn't really understand it, and it was frustrating at times. But I always knew that he had my best interest in mind, and I think as a coach, that's probably, all you can ask is that, you're playing for you and for the coach, and you know that the coach has your best interest in mind. You're not playing for him and to get him wins. And I think, when a coach has that relationship with players, he can coach them as hard as he wants. And he did push me, and I appreciate that, probably more now than I did at times then. And then afterwards, after playing for Coach Wallingford, then the friendship kind of developed. And but like I said, he was a great basketball mind. He was fun to play for, but he was demanding of me, and that was for my own good. And like I said, I think knowing that a coach has your best interest in mind, you don't mind when a coach coaches you hard like that. Being the first team to make it to the national tournament, that was a big accomplishment my junior year, and then being part of 3 league championship teams. But probably the thing I take away most is the relationships that I formed. There are, 3 particular individuals, 2 of which were teammates, that, one lives in Florida, one's in North Carolina, and one's in Indiana. And I still talk to those guys multiple times per week. We're all fathers and husbands now, and we have formed kind of an accountability group, just check in with each other, see how it's going, being a father, being a husband, being a business person. And just those relationships and how strong they still are. I've not really experienced that elsewhere, and all those relationships were formed here while I was at Milligan. Outside of the tremendous academic foundation that I had coming from here, especially in the science department, that carried me through optometry school. And then the whole theme at Milligan of being a servant leader. I think as a business owner, I have 2 separate optometry practices and about 9 employees. And I think applying that concept of being a servant leader really helps you in that arena. Knowing that it's not just about me, and they're not just my employees, we're all in this together. And if you don't learn to serve as well as lead, people aren't going to respond to that. And I think that theme was constantly out in front, as a student here at Milligan and even as an athlete. Yeah, well, I was just thinking on the way down, it's 20 years since, I played my last game here. And it's, I live 6 hours away, so I don't get back as much as I would like to. But it's certainly when you get in the Johnson City area coming in, those feelings and memories start to come back. And it truly is a special place. I think, some of that has to do with the size of the school, the community that Milligan is. A lot of students being from out of state, and so on weekends everybody's here. It's really a tight-knit group, and you really get to know and develop those relationships, and all that comes back, and how much of appreciation that you have for those first 4 years that you're away from your parents. I mean, that's huge developmentally. It's your first, everything's on you at that point. Your parents aren't around, but you still have the support, to make the right decisions. And, of course you don't always do that, but you're on your own, and you kind of come back and you realize how much you grew and how vital that experience was when you were here. Yeah, being a Buffalo, it means academic excellence and athletic excellence as well. But I think the overriding theme is that, life's bigger than just you. There's a spiritual aspect you need to develop as a person. It's not just about you. The academics and athletics are important, but the overriding theme is, we're all children of God, and there's a whole other aspect of life that, overrides everything else. Everything falls into place under that. And I think that's what it means to be a Buff. Like I said, it's academic excellence, it's athletic excellence, but at the same time, it's much bigger than that. And there are other realms, spiritually. That's a good question. It certainly is a tremendous honor. I think I try to hesitate, to be proud of myself. I think that's a slippery slope, But, I think it means a lot to my parents, who were very influential, and maybe means more to them. I think it actually says a lot more about them and the path that they put me on and the support they gave me. And I think back to, the weekend I was inducted, my parents were here, my brother, and seeing how much it means to those people. That's the truly special part. I had 3 teammates that made the trip from out of state to come to that ceremony as well. And really, thinking back, they couldn't have been prouder if it was one of them that was standing up there. And Coach Wallingford was at the ceremony as well. And I think it says more about those people, the parents that I had, the teammates and the coaches that I had as well, than it does me. Again, it's a tremendous honor and one that I'll always cherish, but it means a lot to those people, and that's probably what means most to me. Yeah, that probably means I shot a lot. Again, it means that I played with a lot of good players and played for a great coach, several great coaches, including assistants, and played for Coach Rick Scruggs 1 year as well. And, again, I just don't think it's about me. I think it's about the opportunities I was given, the talents I was blessed with by God, and try to use those to the best of my ability, and then being put in a great situation here at Milligan. I don't think so. Like I said, I didn't know it was that important enough to go through this. But yeah, I did have a great experience at Milligan, and the older you get, the more you cherish it. And I appreciate the opportunity to come back and do things like this, and still be a part in a small way of the Milligan community.